Hello, Internet Nation. Alex and Ashley here. I literally just tried to get ahead of the game by recording this video on the YouTube app so I could just upload it to YouTube. And then YouTube was like, hey, guess what? Even though you have 9 gigabytes of space on your phone, you're out of space. So I have to restart. This video is kind of big because I'm ranting and I don't really feel like going over the first 3 because I feel better in regards to that, but I'm going to touch on it because this is an important message that needs to get out there. Basically, this is more of a video diary because my therapist, or therapy in general, says that you should confront the people that hurt you. But every time I have confronted somebody who has hurt me, they've gaslit me. They've said it never happened. They said that I initiated it. They said that it's just bullshit. So I've accepted the fact that I'm never gonna get that recognition from the people who hurt me. Because, I mean, hey, if a person is bold enough to rape you, of course they're not gonna give a fuck when you say that they raped you. So this video is for me, and this video is for anyone watching it, any of the 2 people watching it who have been affected by sexual abuse and have been feeling hopeless because you can't confront your abuser because they're a piece of shit and they're not going to give you the recognition of acknowledging that they raped you, even if, it was something as simple as you saying that you don't want to have sex, and they said they don't want to have sex either. But that was just a form of manipulation to get you to have sex with them, because now you guys are having sex. And, you keep saying you don't want to have sex, but now his dick is in you. And then, when you confront them and say that was rape, they're like, no, you initiated it. And I'm just like, where? In me saying no? In me saying I don't want to have sex? Is that initiating? I think you need to go to jail and get serious psychological help if you think I don't want to have sex means, oh yeah, daddy, hump me right now. So I already recorded about 20 minutes of this video, and I was on the 3rd person. So I'm gonna recap the first one, and I decided that I'm gonna say names, cause fuck you guys. You guys can rot in hell for all I fucking care. And I don't, cause you wouldn't care about me, so I hope this gets back to some of you. I hope people find out. I hope they figure out what you fucking did. Especially you, cousin. So, starting over, we're gonna bring it back, and I'm just gonna touch on these things, because when I said this the first time, I got really emotional. Not just emotional. So I'm gonna try to keep that same energy, cause fuck a nigga who's not man enough to get consent to have sex with somebody, and fuck a little bitch nigga whose ego is so big because their dick is so fucking tiny that they need something big to catch up with it, that they have to take it from children. So anyway, like we did last time, we're gonna start with Cousin Delroy from my mom's side, because that's where it started with, right? So, as I said, Delroy, I don't remember if I confronted you about this. I remember either I did or I said something along the lines, but I recall you saying that didn't happen. And I know I'm not fucking crazy. I don't understand why my family is filled. I don't understand why I get gaslit so much, because traumatized here, literally gets flashbacks of shit. I know it happened. I know my mom handed me a knife and told me to fucking kill myself because it traumatized me. It stuck with me. Don't sit here and tell me you didn't say it when I get flashbacks of it. Okay? I wrote in my journal about it. You probably know that because you probably read my journal. But this isn't about my mom. No, this is about niggas. This is about the dudes who want to tell you that your rape was consensual. So, Delroy, it definitely happened. I remember because I remember contemplating if I liked the way you touching my vagina felt. You know? I was a kid, wasn't even like 10. Maybe it started when I was like 5, 7. I was definitely really young, and it continued for a few summers. That's the reason my mom made me stop going over to my cousin's house, because she found out my sister was getting molested by our uncle. So, like father, like son, I guess. So that's why I had to stop going over there, because you were a piece of shit child molester, who ironically, now that I think about it, has a child now who's probably like 5, 7. Hopefully you aren't molesting them, because that would suck. And hopefully you aren't raising your child to be a molester, because then we'd have to kill you and kick you out of the family, because not in my family, no siree. So, I just want you to know that because you decided to use my fear and anxiety against me as a kid, and you use that to your advantage, because if I would say no, he would be like, if you don't let me do it, I'm gonna leave. Because I like to sleep in the middle of the bed. There was me, my cousin Nikki, and my cousin Delroy. So I like to sleep in the middle of the bed because I'm a big baby and I used to see spirits as a kid. So when you see like things moving on walls, you don't want to sleep against the walls, because then you're afraid something's gonna like reach up from behind the bed and grab you and pull you under the bed. But you know, you can go from either side. So if you're in the middle, you're safe from the intruders of the room and the monsters under the bed. As I said, I was like 5 to 7. And I had a very overactive imagination, so I was very scared of all the monsters and all the ghosts and all the things that can't be seen in the world. So I just want you to know that because of you, I developed a really bad sex addiction that affects me to this day. I did used to like masturbate with everything, and established this great association between sex and shame, because I would just masturbate and be like, oh, if your friends knew what you were doing, they would be so ashamed, and if your teachers knew, they would be so embarrassed, and yada yada yada, which you grow up and nobody cares. I just grew up in a really toxic household where my mom was continuously shaming sex. I don't know why, almost as if she knew, because she was shaming it from like a young age, and I'm just like a kid using my life-size Barbie doll's face to rub up on like she's giving me head or some shit, because you know it feels good. And it's like the fact that our house was just so repressive to the point where I couldn't even tell you that I was getting molested. And even when you found out, she was mad at me, which does not make you want to tell her anything. Even when she found out that Randy raped me, all she had to say was, I told you so. So, you know. So, as much as you want to say it didn't happen, it definitely did. Because 20 so years of having a sex addiction make it a little hard to ignore. And because of that, I grew up not realizing, because like the combination of not being able to tell anybody and constantly being abused in various ways, be it sexually, emotionally, physically, you learn to not say anything. So that combination of not saying anything to anyone, combined with, oh, you can't tell anybody, or if you tell somebody, I'll let the monsters get you, or all that shit. Like, I grew up not realizing I was molested, because that was just something that got pushed down. I was such an observant kid where nothing really meant anything. And once the moment was over, I was in the next moment, because I didn't want to focus on anything. I was probably in a lot of pain then, too. But I can't remember anything I said the last time, because I don't know if I got closure on that or if I just feel better about it. There isn't much to say. It's like I've hoped you've grown into a better person so that if I ever do confront you about it, you aren't a piece of shit about it. Because y'all niggas is trash. And I'm gonna tell my daddy. And me and him, we gonna come after you with motherfucking tomahawks. And if you don't fucking like it, you better apologize right the fuck now. And even if you do apologize, I'm gonna tell my daddy. And we're gonna come after you with tomahawks. And I don't give a fuck how much you beg me to stop fucking you with my tomahawk. That's it. I don't give a fuck. Fuck you. And that's not just to my cousin, that's for all of you. So, moving on to my second cousin from my daddy's side. And best believe I probably would have told him what you did if I could remember your fucking name. And, I mean, I believe it was Junior something. And I know we only have, like, one junior, one on my dad's side, not including my extended family from my stepmom's side. I think we only have one junior, so you better hope he doesn't see this video. So, when I was a kid, nice and settled into my sex addiction, into my touching myself every day and using random objects throughout the house and feeling full of shame, when I was a kid, me and my cousin from my dad's side, we were at grandma's house and we were play fighting. I didn't even touch on my hair. I spontaneously decided to cut all my braids off so I can have short hair again. That's it. So I'm just going to be doing that throughout this video. So yeah, when I was a kid, I used to play fight with my cousin. Or more so, we would like wrestle a little bit. And then, you know, he was also like 5 years older than me or something. So he was definitely significantly older than me. I was like around 10, maybe, hard maybe. So we used to play fight, and then he would pin me up against the bed and then stick his hand in my pants and like play with me, play with my vagina. But he didn't do it right, so I would position myself so that he could do it right. Because why are you sticking your hands down a girl's pants if you aren't gonna like finger the vagina, like stick your fingers in her vagina if you're gonna stick your hand in your pants, right? Like, what are you doing? Or if you're gonna rub the clit, like, what are you touching? What are you touching on this child? What are you looking for, you know? So I used to position myself so he could do something instead of just I'm just like, am I supposed to be feeling something? Is this supposed to feel good? What satisfaction do you get out of dishing around in my pants? So yeah, I used to position myself so that he could actually touch something. I'm pretty sure that scared him, which is a little hilarious to me, because why are you scared of if the person you're molesting is with it? Because you should be more scared about her father walking through that door than her going, yeah, no, not like that, like this. Like, yes, you are getting sex advice from a child, but is that what scares you? That I know more about touching female anatomy than you? Because I have a dark history. You should let me teach you, not be threatened by my knowledge, because maybe cut your hands and your dick off if you're not going to learn how to use them, you know? You know? So, yeah, you better hope I don't remember your face. And you better hope my dad doesn't see this video, because then he gonna find out that you were molesting his baby girl, kinda, sorta, somewhat right under his nose. And that's probably gonna make him real extra mad, because right under his nose, bro, he couldn't protect his own child under his own nose. He gonna come for you, and ooh, if you say you ain't do it, I'ma come for you. We gonna have a whole ass squabble in the family, and whose side you think they gonna be on? The person who said, hey, you know, this guy molested me when I was a kid, right? Or the person that goes, nah, I definitely didn't do that. I remember, from what I just said in vivid detail too, I remember it happened in, I don't remember who, it happened in Miranda's room, and it happened in that other room, it happened in both the rooms on either side of Grandma's room. Never in Grandma's room, but in both those bedrooms that Grandma has. I remember You know who else remembers? Pepperidge Farms. So third person. I'm going to try to move through these faster because I already went through it and I don't have the same feelings to work through that I did when I did those. So, third person, Darrell. You didn't... Okay, let's touch on the first thing, because I can't say you didn't hurt me the way they did. When thinking back on it, you kind of pressured me to losing my virginity to you. Like, I wasn't ready, and I probably wouldn't have been ready to have sex for a long time. I guess I could say that you kind of started it off, because after that I knew what sex felt like, and it was just like a downhill battle from there, because I remember I used to like use sex to get you to love me, because you completely tuned out of our relationship, and what you should have did was break up with me instead of like staying with me but then ignoring me, because like you got me pregnant and I was super depressed. And then I found out that I was pregnant, even though we definitely used a condom. But I took 2 pregnancy tests, and they both came out positive. So, I don't know what that's about. But it happened. I was pregnant for 34 days before I started bleeding again. And that whole time, you weren't there for me. I spent a lot of time crying because I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to get an abortion. I probably put it up for adoption, but I knew that I was going to have to go through that whole thing alone at 15. And then you kind of pressured me into having anal sex with you, because I didn't want to lose my virginity yet. But you fucked me in the ass in the bathroom on that Poconos trip. I don't know if you remember, because guys tend to forget everything when it involves me, but I didn't really feel good about that. I definitely didn't feel good about it after, when the cum started to come out. Nobody told me that was going to happen, and it was very embarrassing, even worse so when you decided to like unlock the door and come in because I was in the bathroom. Like, I guess you also didn't know that cum comes out your ass when you come in someone's ass, but why break down the door? Can I get a little privacy, please? And it definitely doesn't help that, like, you got the next girl after me pregnant and didn't ignore her while she cried for days on end, completely pretending like you didn't see her cutting herself. So many people just pretended like they didn't see me cutting myself in high school, even when it happened in front of them. And yet I'm supposed to believe that people care about me? Yeah, okay. I believe your lies, when even though nobody like does anything to acknowledge the fact that they even know who I am. But anyway, I can't say at this moment if I felt pressured to have sex in that whole relationship, but I know that at some point I was just doing it because I thought that would make you love me again. Like, I thought that would make you talk to me and care about me. So I had sex with you. You kind of just used me. I don't know what to do with that. I'm upset. But that is what it is, I guess. So Alejandro, I think about him fondly. He abandoned me, but he didn't rape me. If anything, he wanted me to rape him. He was the reason I realized that I am a sub. A brat, but a sub. I have nothing for him. After I'm skipping a bunch of names. I was about to go to Randy, But Randy is a turning point. So before Randy, who do we hit? Do you go to Sam first, or do you go to Malcolm? Hell, I should probably do a little bit of digging for all that repressed shit, because once you become an adult, you realize that coercion is rape. You realize that having sex with somebody because they won't let you escape, if they won't let you leave, is rape. And I was definitely in a situation, and I even confronted Malcolm about this, because I told him years down the line how those times that we had sex were rape. Like, I don't know how one time could be even questioned, because he and his friend, like, pinned me onto his bed. One of them had me pinned while the other one was, like, touching me, and they're like, oh, you're moaning, you like it. And I'm just like, because my body automatically responds that way does not mean that I like it. Like, I'm pretty sure if you were to jerk a guy off while he had a boner out, he would come. If he doesn't lose that boner eventually, I guess, maybe. You know, hell, just rub up against the dude, even if he says he doesn't like it and he gets a boner, then you'd be like, oh, you like it. But you can't just tell somebody they like it while you have them pinned down. You know, there are times where I didn't want to have sex with you, but you wouldn't let me leave your house if I didn't have sex with you. So I had sex with you, and you become an adult, and you realize, oh, hey, I got raped. So that's a thing that happened, and I definitely confronted you about it, and you said that it wasn't rape. You said something along the lines of, nah, that's not the truth. And that hurt. I mean, I'm not surprised, but it hurt. You definitely raped me a few times. And, like, I know a bunch of, like, psychopaths would be like, well, why did you keep going back there if he was raping you? Because I didn't realize it was rape. I didn't. And plus, I liked hanging out with him. And I was just so used to being molested by people that was, like, that wasn't even on the forefront of my mind. I was just like, oh, I hope that we can hang out and have a cool time this time, and that he doesn't try and touch me again. Because, you know, I just wanted friends, and I just, you know, you think people are cool and you want to hang out with them. You know, when you're a kid and nobody is looking out for you, and people just hurt you, and they know that you're being hurt, and they know that you're in pain, and they don't do anything, you learn how to not take care of yourself. So I didn't know that I shouldn't be going back to people's houses, because I didn't know I was being raped and molested. I just knew it felt wrong, and I wish he would stop, because I just wanted to, like, have friends, you know? I thought they were cool, and I wanted to, like, do stuff together, like create art and shit. So then I guess next is Sam. And that's kind of a big one, because Sam kind of haunted me. We went to the same middle school, and I remember being so happy when he was a senior, because I thought that meant I would never see him again. So, like, I got my first taste of cheating on my boyfriend because I was being molested with Sam. I remember he almost took my virginity, which I was dating this one dude, Steven, who I think was my first boyfriend in middle school. So maybe I'll give him a little more leeway. Maybe I won't. I don't know. Maybe he's a little bitch. I don't know. I don't know what to say. We were all kids. Except for Sam, who was older. But so this dude I remember we would, like, run into each other on the way home, just all the time. And then he would do things to me that I didn't want to do with him. Like, I remember one time we were walking down this, like, alleyway. It was kind of like a road, but not like a real road, like a back road behind people's houses. So you could, like, drive through it to get from one block to the other, but it was kind of like the only thing around you is, like, people's backyards and stuff. So I remember we were walking through there one day. I don't remember how we were in that situation or why I was in that situation. I just remember I didn't want to be in that situation. But I was so passive as a kid from, like, years of being told that my existence isn't good enough and that I'll never amount to anything and I'll never be as good as the white kids. You know, you just grow up without self-esteem and knowing what's right and what's wrong, because literally everything that you've ever been surrounded by has been wrong. So I remember he, like, took me to this back alley one day and he pulled my pants down and he was rubbing his dick on my ass. And I was, like, standing there, like, trying to find the best way to get out of that situation. And I remember this one time I was with Steven and we ran into Sam, and then Sam took me into his house. And mind you, my boyfriend was just, like, standing waiting for me outside, and I'm just like, damn. For one, you let me take him. For two, you almost let him rape me while you stood idly by.